Since Spacies.
Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show! It's the Since Spacies Show, everybody!
G'day invaders, welcome to the Since Spacies Show, episode number 33. Oh my god, first episode of 2023. It's been a while. I'll wait until midway through the year to do this. Let's wait for this music to kick along. Dance, guys, dance. You can't hear it. They can't hear it. It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, God.
Stop. All right, I can't do the sound effects because it's just too much going on here at the moment. Welcome to episode number 33 of the Since Spacies Show, and I finally decided to get off my ass and get a show up and running again. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the back end to get these shows up and running. I am surrounded by three very tired Yanks here. It is, 5 o'clock in the morning where you guys are?
6:30 a.m. for me.
6:30. Okay, they're starting to see sunrise, and it's super hot over there.
Yeah, 5:30.
Okay. We have got MK over on the left-hand side, short for Mortal Kombat. You'll find out more about why that's there. Then we've got Pato, who's from just Pato. Okay, Pato. Then there's me. How you doing? And this is super awkward. And Rue over on my right. Okay, we're going to start with MK. First of all, introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is tabmoK 99. You might know me from my YouTube channel where I just talk about Mortal Kombat lore all the time. My most recent video was about Goro, so I'm still in Goro's lair right behind me.
That's awesome.
Other videos I've done crazy things like how many dinosaurs there's been in Mortal Kombat. I've done like standard traditional videos like about Scorpion's family and stuff like that. I like to take deep dives into the Mortal Kombat lore. So you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube at tabmoK99. I also wanted to say thank you so much to Since Spacies for having me on this show. It's a pleasure to be here on your 33rd episode.
33rd and counting. There's actually been more than 33 episodes. We used to be Another Bloody Gaming podcast. That's a mouthful, and we simplified it. So I think we got up to 15 episodes of that, and we've had really cool guests when it was named that. Do you know Al Nielsen? Does that name ring a bell to any of you guys?
Oh, yeah. Al Nielsen from Sega.
You've heard it. Do you know the term Genesis does? He coined that. Yeah,
oh, wow.
he was the one that coined that, and he was going to be featured in a movie. I don't know what happened to that, Console Wars, but that's probably still going to happen one day. So MK, got a question for you. This is a question we always ask. By the way, we've got 3 new people for the first time. Fresh meat. All right. So MK,
for the grinder.
First, the 3 standard questions that we always ask new guests. What's the first first console that you ever owned and the first game you played on it?
Okay, well, since I've been playing video games since before I can remember, that's going to be a little difficult, but Atari 2600 was the first console we had in my house. And in fact, I knew you were going to ask this, so I had to ask my dad, hey, Dad, did you get that Atari after I was born or before I was born? It's before. So we've had that Atari 2600 is older than me, and I've still got one. Yeah, and I still have an Atari 2600. It's not the same one that I grew up with. I just had to go on eBay and get another one because I missed that thing. And
I still don't have one.
Yeah, you probably have the same one.
No, I don't have one. I need to get one. Yeah, sorry, keep going. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. Breakout, which I found later was designed by Steve Jobs.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So that was my first console and my first video game on it.
Nice.
Next question. I think I know where this is gonna go. Favorite game of all time? Gun to the head.
Ooh.
Super Smash Brothers. No, Mortal Kombat. I do like Smash Brothers a lot, though. That's why it's like.
Okay.
He's like, I can't think of a better fighter game.
I've been a fan of the Mortal Kombat franchise since the very first one, since Mortal Kombat 1, you might say.
Mhm.
And I got it, all right. And I was gonna ask, what are you currently playing at the moment?
I just had a chance to play the Mortal Kombat stress test last weekend on the PS5. Oh man, it's just so I feel so fortunate to be a part of that.
Cool.
Okay.
So I guess I'm still. I guess that's the most recent thing I've been playing. I played the shit out of it last weekend.
Nice.
Okay, so Pato, we move on to you. First console that you ever owned, and the first game that you remember playing on it.
First console I ever owned in the first. Oh, so the first console for sure is the NES. I was very, very young. My sister came and got me and brought me into this little like rec room that we had, and showed it to me for the first time. And we just gotten the pack in, so it was Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. So Super Mario Brothers was actually the first game I ever played.
Wow.
Yeah.
Since Duck Hunt.
Right after that. Yep.
Since Duck Hunt. Doesn't really have the same.
Since Duck Hunt.
Yeah. No.
But no, that's legitimately like where I started. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Favorite game of all time? No pressure. Gun to the head.
That's a lot of pressure. Because it changes.
That's a loaded question, you know.
It changes. It changes.
All right. Currently, if you.
It's right now. If I had to choose right now, it would probably be, probably The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
That's a good answer.
Right now.
I'm sure someone has answered that in the past.
Bro, I swear we're like the same person, dude. I'm gonna answer with the same answers, dude.
Do you know what?
You don't even need to ask Rube. Just use my answers.
Do you know what? When I get American guests on, their answers are usually very similar. Yeah. It's just an American
the same childhood, you know.
Yeah.
And what are you currently playing? What's currently keeping you busy?
Right now, I am playing the Final Fantasy VII remake. I'm Tears of the Kingdom.
Thank God we have that different.
Right, there you go. So Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy VII remake. It picked up Ghosts of Tsushima, and been back into Subnautica again. I think that's it for now. I'm always jumping all over the place. And Majora's Mask, because we have a podcast episode coming out next week for Majora's Mask. So
I hate that game. I hate it.
I love it. I love it.
I get
love it.
why people love it. I just can't dig the Groundhog Day nature of it. I just, yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about it. It'll be an exciting episode on the Retro Blast podcast. Make sure.
Here we go.
That you check
all
it
right.
out.
Yeah. Stop it. All right. And moving on. Rue, first console that you ever owned and the first game you remember playing on it.
It was the NES.
Insert American answer here. Yep, go on.
Yeah, the first game definitely was Mario Bros. Although it could have been Arkanoid, it could have been Dragon Warrior, because we had all three of those games. So, but I'm gonna say probably Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt combo.
Okay.
Dude, I loved going to Pizza Hut and seeing the Arkanoid machine that they had there. It was like
it had the little twist knob.
Yeah, because my first game was Breakout, and then when I saw what they did with Arkanoid, it was like, whoa, I didn't know they could do that.
You can shoot?
Yeah, the game is amazing. Still holds up.
Yeah.
Favorite game of all time?
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, definitely. Just a perfect game.
Okay.
Essentially, yes.
I did finish it on one of my streams last year for the first time. So
Really?
Finally got around to finishing it. So that was fun. And and what was the game you're currently playing at the moment?
Right now, I'm playing a really shitty game that I really love called Gothic. I'm playing the sequel, Gothic 2. a lot of people would regard it as terrible, but I love it. It's fun to me.
Guilty pleasure.
It's all that
Yeah,
matters.
yeah. It's like, it's one of those things. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like comfort food or something.
Yeah.
And as for me, I don't answer the two of the questions. I only answer the last one because I've already answered that way back in episode 1. But I am currently playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the Future Redeemed. It is amazing that you can get a DLC, which is essentially a new game, and it brings back all of the characters from Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and all of a sudden, well, your friends are there, but they're meeting up for the first time from different games, and they're interacting. It's weird. And he's old now, and he's got a mullet, and that's so cool, watching this guy with a mullet going to town with a sword. But I'm having a lot of fun with that, and there's just too many games on my bucket list that I'm trying to get through now. It shouldn't be called a bucket list. It's a shame pile. My shame pile is huge. Pretty much, I don't finish games. I get into a game, and I get to the point where I'm like, okay, so that's how it runs. That's cool. All right, next, and I move on. I don't hang around for the story, which I should. Okay. Cameron is saying it's past my bedtime, but I'll stay up for you. Okay, thank you.
I'm sacrificing my well-being for you right now.
Okay, so how this works, if you're new to the Since Spacies Show, we ask you to send in questions. Oh my God, I've been drinking too many pale ales. We ask you to send in questions, video questions, a minute long, and it's got to be in landscape, not this TikTok bullcrap, and it's got to be a minute or less, and you got to make it creative. And I've got 8 questions loaded up. They've all been sent in, but the first one is for me for some reason. So this one is from Jizwa. I don't know where they come up with the names. I just go with the information I've got at hand. So Jizwa, what have you got for us?
Dear Spacies, how long have you worked with Sega once you got the position? And how long in a professional sense have you been linked to Sega as a company after your job at the Sega support helpline or whatever it's called?
Okay, I've only been doing this now how many years, and it's still super awkward. Sorry for the audio there, but basically he's asking a question aimed at me. I started at the Sega hotline, and I say Sega. You guys call it Sega. I don't give a shit. It was called Sega here. It's a long story. And I started there in November-ish or December. I haven't got exact dates. In 1991. So as soon as I left high school, I only spent about a month not having a job and wondering where am I going to work. And then all of a sudden, after 2 years of me hounding them for a job, my phone rang and I was asked to come in. And all I had to do was say, yes, I have finished Alex Kidd in Miracle World, and I ended up with a job at the Sega hotline.
Cool.
Not quite as simple as that, but that's a really shortened version of it. And I was there. Oh wow. and I was there until about 1994 April. I don't know the exact dates. It's so long ago. It's not like now. Everything's super recorded and all the dates are finalized. Back then we didn't even take photos, videos, nothing. Nothing was documented. And that's my biggest regret, is not taking more photos, videos. I didn't even have a video camera, so I couldn't even do that. So
living in the moment.
We were just,
yeah.
It was more. It wasn't really a job. It was more like just a bunch of us guys hanging out, answering some phones, and just talking Sega in between calls. It was really cool.
That is cool.
And did you
And-
get access to all the latest and greatest video games without having to pay for them?
Yes, we were sent ROM chips. We were sent ROM chips from Japan, and they would come with these sheets basically explaining what the game is and how far they are in with it. Was marketing reasons. We didn't give a shit about any of that. We're just wanting to play these games. So we would sometimes be offered to take them home, And that was super
That's
cool.
man.
So my favorite memory of anyone that's watched my channel knows this one. My favorite memory was being given permission to take home Streets of Rage 2 before it was released. The first level only. It was only up to the first level. And I had it in my backpack. On my way home from playing that, I heard these kids in the bus on the way to work going through an EGM magazine. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And they were getting super hyped. Oh my God, Streets of Rage 2, it's going to be so awesome. And I'm like, and I turned around and I pulled it out. I pulled it out and I said, I've got it. And they're like, bullshit. And I said, does this look like bullshit to you?
Well, yeah,
And,
come to my house, kids. I'll show you.
that was one of my only few I work at Sega moments, which was really cool. But anyway, enough about me. So that's, and it's called the Sega Hotline, not the Sega whatever, as you called it in your question. It's the Sega Hotline.
I have a follow-up question for you.
Yeah.
That was a really cool story. I want to know if you have any of those marketing sheets that you were talking about.
No, and this, it gets sadder. All those ROMs in that cupboard that we had were thrown out. When I found that out, I was just distraught. That is not cool. But they threw them all out, and it was sad because we possibly had, Sonic finished version and all the rest of it.
Early builds.
But
At least you got the memories.
I got the memories. So sad to hear it. That's cheesy, but yeah.
Man.
But anyway,
Worked at Sega and lost than to have never worked at Sega at all.
I'm so I've got regrets in not doing more documentation, etc. But could I have changed anything? No. I was super poor back then. I didn't even have a video camera, and no one else was documenting it. Not even Sega themselves. It's kind of weird how these days people
everything's documented.
Yeah. And back then, no one gave a shit. It was just bizarre. So I hope that answered your question. We're going to move on to question number 2, which I've got to quickly pull up. This is from Cameron. And I just realized whenever I pull that screen up, you guys all disappear off the screen, so I can't do that too often. All right. Cameron, what have you got for us, matey?
Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Since Spacies Show. And I have a question for everybody on this current episode, whoever they may be. My question for this current episode is, do you think that it's really stupid how you have to unlock the spin dash move in Sonic Frontiers by completing a rank S on every challenge area in the whole game, instead of getting it from the skill tree, which also is included in Sonic Frontiers? In fact, it shouldn't even need to be included in the skill tree, because it is an iconic move that Sonic has fucking had since day one of the goddamn series, and he should never need to unlock a signature move like this in the first place. It's as if they forgot to put it in the main game and then put it in an update, but made us suffer during the update. Anyway, that was my opinion. And what do you have to think about this current predicament and situation? Thank you very much for letting me ask this question. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
All right. Back again. Thank you, Cameron. So none of these guys know who you are. Cameron he thinks of himself as a bit of a rocker, and he's got 80s metal hair right down to waist height. I'm super tempted to get,
Definitely.
Don't do it.
Mate, if you do offer to cut your hair, I would do it on stream. It would make a great charity stream, that. I think we should.
It's pretty rad, though. Your hair's pretty rad, dude.
So answer. All right. I'm moving on from Cameron's hair. That should be a tag in itself. The question is, should the Sonic Dash have been available from the start? Simple answer, yes. That's just ridiculous that they hid that behind such a ridiculous, I don't know what you'd call that.
I find that
It's not even
nuts.
a...
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
Well, full disclosure, I haven't played Sonic Frontiers.
None of these guys
Yeah,
have.
none of us have.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I can still comment. Yeah, the Sonic Spin Dash is a classic move, and you'd think that would be available right from the get-go. But if they're gonna make it unlockable, don't make it so challenging that you have to get S tier like that. They should have made it way easier to unlock that ability.
Even
You
if it
would
was
think
like,
it's something. No, go ahead, Ru.
go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, even if it was like unlocked close to the beginning, or you didn't have to do a whole lot to get, that's okay. That would be acceptable.
Yeah.
But
If it was something, if it was a mega awesome move, then maybe hide that behind S tier rankings. Maybe to the ability to change to Supersonic at will. But Spin Dash? There you go. What are you doing? Come on.
Supersonic at will. That's a good one for that sort of thing.
Or maybe
Work.
have the ability to change to Supersonic if you've got 100 rings or more. Something
Like that seems like something
Stuff
that
like
would
that,
would
yeah.
make sense for getting all the S tiers. Like, oh, you can get Supersonic at will, but not the Spin Dash. That could be something that even if you wanted to make someone wait, just make it a little further in the game and be like, oh, I unlocked
Early.
the Spin Dash, and then you've got half of the game left. Not
Right.
that seems that's a bizarre choice. in my
See,
opinion.
okay, so go on.
Oh, well, when you think about what you have to do in order to get that ability, all I have to say is the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
And it is a punish having to get S tier. I was going to say, being the only guy here that's rolled credits on that game, I was going to say that it's a step in the right direction. I think that Sega have been brave in taking the Sonic franchise in a direction that they've chosen to do by just copying Breath of the Wild. I just think that they lack the discipline and the focus that Nintendo have, as seen with Breath of the Wild. They just don't have that neat little. God, I'm getting. Look at this. They don't have that attention to detail that Nintendo have, and I guess that's due to the size of the studio, etc. They got to get a game out. They can't be spending all day and worrying about the little things. But that's not a little thing. That's a big thing. They could have easily have not stuffed that up right from the start.
Yeah, I agree.
Cameron, yes, we know you've beaten it. You get a round of applause. Well done. Yes, congratulations.
Wow! Congratulations!
All right. Okay, so thank you, Cameron, for your wonderful, super, not too close to the camera question. Let's move on to question number 3. What have we got for the next one? Just hang on a second. Oh, I know what this one is. Okay, Bumblebee, what what have you got for us?
G'day there, Since Spacies. I am Bumblebee, Retro Kaiser's dog, and wait, is that me? No. But I got a question for you, buddy. Have you had anything very important in your gaming collection get destroyed by someone else? Anyway, that's the question. I'm out of here. Bye. Oh crap! He locked me in. Fuck. Damn dirty.
Thank you, Bumblebee's totally not gamer, retro game, Emerald Rangers. Sorry, getting my name. He's got so many names. It's just hard to work out which one to use at that time. Have any of you had something destroyed? I've got an answer, but I'm wanting to see if any of you guys can go first.
I can't think of anything in particular. If I had something destroyed, it was probably by my dog. But not
What is it with dogs?
Yeah.
not recently.
Same. I had a few games chewed up by a dog when I just adopted my current dog now, who doesn't chew on anything anymore.
Not after that electric,
the electric shock therapy.
Yeah.
No, but he ran through a few. I still have a case. I think my Alien Isolation case is completely chewed up. I kept it just because I think it's hilarious, but it's just nothing but like a nub of a case that's left. But other than that, I've been fortunate. I've had cases for games get ruined by water damage and stuff like that, which if you collect,
yeah, definitely water damage. I forgot about that.
Mhm.
Is this a basement thing with Americans?
No,
I hear this a
no,
lot.
It was me spilling stuff.
That's a you
100%.
problem. Okay.
Yeah.
I destroyed my own
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, I destroy my own games for fun. It's great.
You know, when my wife was cleaning up, I think she knocked over a very rare Mortal Kombat pinball machine I had, so it broke. And I just said, you know,
Hang on. Stop. Pause. Rewind. Mortal Kombat pinball. How big are we talking?
very, very small. It's a little.
Okay, not real size pinball machine. Because I was thinking, how big is your wife, like, to knock over a pinball machine?
No, you know what? It's right there on your desktop. It's
Okay, got it now. That makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah, no, it had artwork from the Mortal Kombat 2 comic book by John Tobias. I loved the
that's cool.
MK2 pinball machine. She broke it one day. It was an accident. Well, whatever, it happens. I could go and buy another one at some point, I guess. I don't know. I never really played it that much.
Yeah.
It was just a cool thing to have in my collection.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a sad story. I don't, and to this day, she has not told me how she did it or if it was an accident. Pretty sure it was. Game and Watch, boxing.
Okay.
Now, do any of you know what that even looks like?
Yep.
You know the Game and Watch boxing? So there are only 3 types of Game and Watches, which are called microverses, I think was the name for it, where you open it up like this, and it had 2 controllers that you pull out, and then you can have 2 players playing off the one Game and Watch machine.
Oh.
Really, it's like the precursor to Switch, really, if you look at it.
Right.
I had one of those, and she just destroyed it. Like it's not totally destroyed, but it might as well be. A big chunk just taken off the side. And we're talking pretty old, bit of gaming retro history there, but I don't know how she did it. Anyway, there was a good end to that, which I ended up buying a replacement one and just getting one in box. So did she try to eat it? No, Emerald Rangers, but yeah, okay.
No, she tried to box it.
Yeah, she.
Then eat it.
That's too loud. All right. Anyway, I was trying to get a Badoom Chish, yeah. So anyone else got a destroyed story? No?
Nothing
No
else.
dog
Been
ate?
lucky. Been lucky.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Besides dogs, yeah.
Okay, so just keep your dogs and your cats and stuff away from your gaming equipment. You should be fine.
Should be.
I once broke a Nintendo DS. It fell off my desk. That's a tragic story.
Bummer.
I had a pet cat nearly destroying my Nintendo Wii by trying to take a whiz on it.
Wait a minute. Wait, no, I'm sorry. I just remembered. I did have when you just said that, maybe I tried to forget because it was tragic, but I was dating a girl years ago, and I had taken my GameCube, my original GameCube, to her house, and her dog pissed on my GameCube and completely ruined it.
And ruined the relationship by the sound of it.
I'm sorry to give you this visual, everyone. I'm sorry to do this, but I'm going to share the pain. I picked it up by the handle, and the 4 controller ports just had streams of piss.
Oh, what?
Yep. I still have that GameCube. Now listen, I've tried to save it. I've cleaned it. It's been a long time. This was like 2006. This happened.
The memory's still there.
The controller ports don't work.
And you can never unsee that.
I can never unsee it. But yeah, so that did happen, and it was again a dog. So
Bloody dogs! What is wrong with them? Okay, we'll move right along.
That's why he had a dog in his
sucks,
question.
Thank you, Emerald Rangers. Thank you, Emerald Rangers, for a fantastic
Rough
question.
times.
And please keep your dog keeping the questions coming in. All right, you guys are going to disappear off the screen for a second again. Sorry. Okay, so the next question is from Dan. Dan, what have you got for us?
Hey, Spacies. So my question for you guys is, if you were to speedrun a game, what game would it be? For me, it would probably be something like Fantasy Zone 2 for the Sega Master System. I'm not like an expert at it, but it's something that I've been playing for, I don't know, 35 years. And it's a game that I'm good at. I can play through the whole thing without dying. I know what each of the bosses need to die. So yeah, I'm wondering, what do you guys think would be the game that you would try to go for a world record or a decent speed run attempt, if you so choose to do so? Thanks. Talk to you later. And we have 5 seconds left, so I'll just say, yeah, I'm a big fan of Sega, and have a great day.
We're bringing it back here. There we go. A minute or less, guys. Come on, it's not hard. No, thank you, Dan. Awesome question. I believe Rue has a question. Sorry, an answer for us. Oh my God, am I drinking that much? Go, Rue. Before I make
if I was to speed run and get into it, it would probably be with Donkey Kong Country 2. That is a big time. It's a comfort game for me, man. It's like mashed potatoes. It's always good.
With you. I love that game.
It's always good. Yeah, it's great. It's really it's a
best
good
of
one.
the trilogy.
And I always go back to it, especially whenever I'm like having some beers, and I get a little too drunk to play other games. It's like the go-to.
Did you get the you would have got the classic, the Super NES classic, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you would have got the inferior American version, but that's okay.
Is there a difference? There's a difference. Interesting.
Yeah, what are the differences?
The shape of the design.
Oh,
I hate
You got the purple and gray Lego.
Okay,
Welcome to Since Spacies Wind Zone, where I hate the American design with a passion.
Anybody that got the Famicom shell loves to just shit on our Lego block looking gray and purple box that
No, it's not purple. No, it's not purple. It's bloody lavender.
it's purplish. It's great. But see, I'm nostalgic for it. What's that?
Isn't lavender just a shade of purple?
Just don't.
It's lavender. It's just lavender. The name just sounds shit. Anyway, there's a long story as to why you guys got that design, and it's just so painful to hear. Look it up later. It's just ego. Someone in Nintendo of America just had, I could design that, and instead of running with the already awesome.
Of course, we had
Japanese
that eject
Famicom,
button, which was nice. So
the Famicom, the Super Famicom's got a
but didn't they? But they that design started, I think in the U.S. and then they carried it over.
The Famicom had an eject button. The Famicom.
Okay, well, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Yeah. The original Famicom.
Don't quote me.
And the designer, the designer said that for the Famicom, it had no purpose.
Right.
It had no actual purpose. It was cool. It was cool to hit an eject button.
Yeah, that they thought kids would have fun ejecting the cartridges.
And he was right.
It's so
it is kind of fun.
But the American version is nostalgic for all the Americans, so we just think it's cool regardless because that's what we had.
Yeah.
Oh, so tragic. All right, so my question was to you, Rue. Did you bought the classic? You got and played.
Oh, yeah.
Did it have Did it have Donkey Kong 2 on there? Donkey Kong Country 2 on the classic, or did it have one?
Just the first one.
Oh, you're talking about the Super Nintendo Classic? No, I didn't. I did not buy the Classic. I thought you were talking about the actual original Super Nintendo, but
I'm sure you've got that. So that's
yeah.
Okay.
I got the Classic and I hacked it to add more games onto it.
Same. Yeah.
I added them all.
Donkey Kong Country 2 on it, no problem.
Okay.
I wanted to answer this guy's question about the speedrunning.
Yeah, go. Let's get back to the question. Ignore me. Sorry.
No. I actually wanted to give a shout out to someone in the chat today. We've got Outworld, who I know is a speedrunner in the Mortal Kombat community. So just so you guys know who he is.
Okay.
Cool.
I did see him say hello at the start. I'm just not acknowledging chat because I've got my plate full here.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
And I said hi to him in the chat too, but I'm saying hi on the stream now
How's it
because
going?
he's a speedrunner.
How's it going?
He beat Mortal Kombat 3, the arcade version, in under 5 minutes, and I think he set the world record for it at the time.
How's
Okay.
That is
wow.
impressive. That's crazy impressive.
He also speedruns Mortal Kombat Mythologies, which I think he got the world record in that one too. He speedruns all the Mortal Kombat games. So I would love to speedrun Mortal Kombat,
That's
but I have
nuts.
too much competition. I can't possibly do it.
Oh yeah, competition
Shaolin
is
Monks
real.
is great. I was thinking of Shaolin Monks. Mythologies is terrible. But yeah, that would
the
be. I'd love to
challenging
watch a
is-
speed run of that.
It's nostalgic for me, but yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's
not
bad.
great.
Yeah, same
Challenge
for
is
me.
Underrated. It's actually a lot better than people give it credit for, but it is notoriously difficult. So that he can beat it on a one credit
cryptic.
clear is really something.
That's nuts.
I'll
The
check
abuse
out
that
his
he
content.
probably had to go through to do that. is just-
Abuse.
Literally, I remember renting that game and being like, and I'm pretty forgiving, and I was like, this is ridiculous. But
And I just sorry, just got to stop for a sec. I just realized you guys are reading everything on my screen backwards. Hang on, let me correct that. There we go. That's what it's meant to look like. So,
Oh, nice.
well, you guys will now see me reversed,
Whoa.
but on the
yeah,
stream.
you're
Interesting.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I had to take care of that. All right.
As long as it looks good on the stream, and then
Just because we're down under doesn't mean it's all backward here, all right?
you should be upside down for us.
upside down.
Hey, I can do that, but
No.
But if you're gonna speedrun a game, you really want to know it. You really want to be familiar with it. You really want to have spent a lot of time on it. So, a game that I would feel comfortable speedrunning would be like Super Mario Brothers, Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, any of them. Super Smash.
you just like hitting people. You're such a violent person.
The first Donkey Kong Country.
He just ignores that. I like it. Yeah, we're just not gonna go there.
Yes, I love beating people up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Donkey Kong
get the rage
Country,
out.
the first one for me, not the second.
Okay. That's what you would want to speed run? Is Donkey
Yeah.
Kong Country?
Yeah, I feel more comfortable. I spent more time with it,
It's
Yeah.
got to be a game that you can tolerate playing over and over again
Yeah.
too. So
For me, the one that I would speed run for sure would be Mega Man X. I know
it's a
that
good game.
Yeah, I can't do like a blindfold run like someone at Awesome Games Done Quick or whatever, but I know that game really well. I played it so much when I was a kid, and we did an episode on it, and I had to replay it not long ago, and I remember just going through it like it was muscle memory, and still love it. But if there's one I would want to, it would probably be something like Super Mario 64, but that's just because I've watched people do it, and I'm just amazed.
It's cool to
by
watch.
what
Yeah,
people
it's
can do in that
fun.
game. Or like Link to the Past, or Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, something like that would be really fun to learn how to speed run. But I just
Sorry, I just got to interrupt. That's a brag and a half in the chat. Outworld,
What?
I broke the world record 5 times. Man, that is
Wow.
wow.
That's awesome.
Okay,
Amazing.
that is
Yeah,
a
that's
huge
cool.
brag in the chat.
I'm gonna have to check out that content, man.
Yeah.
He knows all the levels in and out.
Yeah.
Outworld, if you could just quickly tell me yes or no, nod your head or something. Can you tell us? Do you do this on Twitch?
He does. He does.
He does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, I'll have to. I'm gonna add him. 'Cause
Yeah.
I want to
YouTube
check that
channel?
out later.
Yeah, he has a YouTube channel, I guess.
He's got a
I can
YouTube
check
channel
out.
also. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's
Okay.
got all the socials. Okay.
I'm gonna have to-
See, I
I'm gonna
like
have to check-
watching people play mythologies on stream that don't know what they're in for. And then they start playing it. That's more fun to watch for me because they just get so frustrated with that game in about 3 seconds. That's a lot of fun to watch. But I also, I'm really impressed by him speedrunning mythologies. Like, I can't even fathom that.
I put a link
Yeah,
to
that's
his
crazy.
Twitter in the chat.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, cool. I just clicked his name and hit follow. But
That too.
I was gonna say for me, I'm not really fast. I'm not actually a really good gamer. Just between you and me. But I would love to be able to get some speed records in Sonic CD. I'm addicted to that game. The soundtrack in particular. The game itself is broken. I get it. It's the level designs
That
are
soundtrack
not
is
really that
amazing.
good. But the soundtrack, not the American version. Shut up, Cameron. You're wrong. The Japanese version is just miles better than the US one. Except the title. Oh God, Sonic CD US is God tier. What is that? Anyway, it's not. But that'll be my answer. Sonic CD. I would love to be able to speedrun that.
That's a good one.
Gonna move on to the next one? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Just Dan. It's just Dan. All right. It's just Dan. It's just Dan.
It's Dan. That's it.
It's just Dan, all right? All right, let's get on with it before it gets weird. Geeks by the Creek has got a question. What was his question? We're up to number 4 now? 5. Wow. Okay, question number 5 from Geeks by the Creek.
Good day, everyone. Here is my question for you. If Nintendo's next system is 100% digital, it's digital only, you will never, ever own a piece of software from Nintendo again. In a world without physical media, one man struggles to own something. You will never own a Mario. You will never own a Mario Kart. You will never own an F-Zero. Well, we may never own an F-Zero anyway. But are you okay with this? If Nintendo releases a digital-only system and you could have your games taken away from you whenever they like to, will you still buy it? I know I'm kind of on the fence. Peace, love, and maybe Nintendo?
We're all getting hello, we back yet? Okay, we're all getting sad and depressed while listening to that. Not by you geeks, just the content of the question.
Yeah,
thank you for the question. Yeah, we're heading into digital only, and it sucks because I can tell you where it gets even worse. Buying a digital only game is bad. Yeah, right. Yeah. But we're used to it. It's part of the culture now. But buying a digital game where it's cloud based,
no,
that's even worse. That's where the industry is actually going, and I don't like it.
They're like preparing us for it too. They're slowly transitioning us into it and introducing these concepts.
Oh, they're nudging us down the hall. Come on, guys, we're going cloud based. It's like, oh no, I don't want to.
Slowly.
Then you see companies come around like Limited Run, who's like kind of taken that approach where, like vinyls come back, right? Like I wonder if we're going to get to a point where everything is digital only and we're going to be upset about it. But eventually other companies are going to rise to the occasion and go like, there are collectors out there. There are people like us who want to collect physical media, and they'll actually produce limited runs, right, of those games and let us purchase those. As long as there's a market for that, I can deal.
Run games.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, because I that's what I want, is I want as much physical media as I can possibly get. I don't like, especially cloud. Come on, no.
That's what I do for a living, is produce physical media. So it's
we want you to have a job.
Exactly.
There's a market for
There's definitely still a market for it, and a rather big one too. So
and we'll pay for it. It's like, I'll pay a little more if you give me a physical copy that I can own. That's how
definitely.
You ever bought a digital game that then gets removed from the store?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I ran into that this past year. I was trying to play Soul Calibur. We were doing an episode on it, and I could have played it on my Dreamcast, and that's what I did at first. But I was like, down in my living room, and I'm like,
is that missing on Xbox? Is that missing on Xbox?
Well, it was. So Soul Calibur 1 and 2 both were released on it. So I went to go download it, and I was able to. I went to my games list and downloaded it, and it would not launch, and they had pulled it. So it's like it was still in my list, but I couldn't launch it. And I got in touch with Xbox customer service, and they were like, yeah, we don't know what to tell you. Like, it's been delisted. And, if there's a fix, we'll let you know. And I'm like,
I don't know what to tell you. Go suck an egg.
Tell you.
Yeah, I played it on my Dreamcast.
A way of putting more lube on.
Just
butter up, buttercup.
Just be patient and we'll fix it. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll get there. We really don't care, but we're just gonna tell you we do. Oh, yeah, that's coming, man. Like, it's happening.
This digital stuff, at first, I think a lot of the newer gamers, like a lot of the younger crowd, they don't understand the dangers and the risks associated with it. But
they don't. They don't get it. No.
They don't.
But for those of us who've been around a while, for those of us
they
who've
make
been
fun
around,
of us.
Us our grandpas in this.
Old people.
Yeah, they make fun of us for it.
Who've been around since.
Dude, I'm telling you, you guys are heading down a dangerous path.
I always get those actually responses where it's like, no, if you purchase it, it's a digital license. You own that game. They can't take it away. And I'm like, dude, maybe right now that's how it is, but this is going to get worse. It's going
these big companies don't care about you either. They're gonna say whatever's like makes them money. Yeah. So it's like, dude,
they're like, oh, games just get delisted. You can't purchase them, and you'll still be able to download them. And I'm like, for how long? When you think they're just going
Right.
to stop hosting those games for you to download, they decide that it's not
Yeah.
worth server space anymore. So
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
look. I'll tell you what
Sorry,
happens
sorry. Before you go on, a big shout out to Outworld for the follow. Thank you very much for that follow. Carry on. Sorry, go on, MK.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I
Rants,
think
you-
we're
they
all
got us into a
passionate.
rant.
We're all like so passionate
Yeah,
about it.
this
We're
is
like,
a passionate topic for us. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to talk about a couple games it just kind of it's stressful. Like you have no idea how it is when there's like a
Yeah.
really cool, awesome game. I mean, like TMNT Reshelled was awesome, and I downloaded it on the
Yeah.
PS3, and it's on my PS3. What happens if my PS3 goes bad and I have to get a new one? And if I have to get a new, if I sign into my old account, am I going to be able to download it and install it on another PS3? I don't know.
Right.
yeah,
What is it? What is it? What is
program
it?
for a long time.
SOOL. SOOL. Shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I
you're
remember
right,
everybody was
because they don't carry all of that tech. Like right now, a lot of what you can play, especially on the PlayStation sides, now they have a service where you can go play PS4 games, some PS2, whatever, but they don't have
Yeah.
backwards compatibility. So if your PS3 dies, we're gonna get to a point where a lot of these consoles are just gonna be harder to find. They're gonna die. They're gonna have harder to replace parts, whatever it may be. And if it's like, well, you bought this game on PS3, but you have to download it and it's not internet capable anymore, or they don't have servers anymore.
That's
you're
why
done.
emulation. We need emulation. It's
We
important.
need,
I know,
we
I
need
agree.
the-
100%.
yeah, we need the emulation scene to help us with this. So would I buy a Nintendo digital only console and play games that are there? Yeah, I probably would, but I'm also going to
Would I like it?
on the emulation scene to kind of make backups for us when that stuff inevitably does fail. I'll tell you my all-time favorite example. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on the
Of course you
iOS.
go Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
iOS.
On the iPhone, on the iPod
Okay.
Touch. I mean, I downloaded that and I bought it for like $5. It was published by EA by some licensing deal I still don't understand. And it was in the App Store. Bought it, purchased it. If I buy a new iPad, it's not going to work. If I want to
Yeah,
have
you're
access
right.
to that, and I have an old iPhone that can still work if I leave it plugged in because the battery's like totally gone to shit. But what happens if I want to buy another iPod or iPhone or whatever? I have to get it jailbroken. I have to buy an older version, get it jailbroken. It's such a pain in the butt to get this stuff
Yeah.
because companies aren't going to help you out. If that happens to be your favorite franchise, and
There-
you're SOL, like
there-
Since Spacies Show.
There is also something that none of you guys have touched on yet. If you make it an all digital future, you're throwing total 100% control of the prices of these games to these companies. So you
Yeah, there's
can't
no
just
resale
go
market.
down to your local store. Oh, look, 50% off. Cool. I managed to pick that up super cheap. No, that's gone.
That's
again,
another reason
they-
GameStop's having such a hard time.
These companies, they just want the money too. So I don't think they care about you. Don't think for one
GameStop
second.
or EB Games is not struggling here in Australia. We're still holding out on all that locally.
That's cool.
They went 10 years ago. They did go through a bit of a shutdown of some stores, but it seems to be that they've thrown all of their focus on physical, like
Yeah.
cushions and plushes and crap like that.
Just to kind of get, for this particular question, when you said like if they brought out a console, like if Nintendo, if the Switch 2 or whatever it may be, or maybe it's
I'm
Switch
buying
2,
it.
right? Whatever
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. But if it's all digital, like I know that I don't know. Like I don't know how I'm gonna feel when it happens, but I think that would be
It's gonna suck.
I don't like the idea of that. I don't like the idea of owning like I get like if you have a Steam Deck, right? There you go. That's one example right there. I mean, that's PC gaming right there on the go, and that's all digital. Great. But if I'm looking at like consoles, I don't feel that an all digital console would be what I want.
We've already watched it happen before our eyes without even knowing it with PC. They ripped out your CD drive. You don't have a CD drive on your laptop anymore. So it's already happened there, but they did it so smooth and slow and.
Well,
They don't have them anymore.
the
Such a great
PSP,
comment.
the PSP Go was one of the first digital only consoles of any kind, and it flopped. But in one way, it was a cool idea to have all the games just right there and ready to go. You don't have to go searching for the. For
In today's market, it would
there is a
probably do it
positive side to it. We're not going to pretend that there's no positives to this.
Yeah.
But there's definitely potential evil lurking in the background of you know, that one day, you know, Sony and Nintendo have both kind of just already made it clear that one day these servers will get shut down, and then you're shit out of luck. This is a topic that's come up on the Since Spacies Show way back since 2017-18, and we're still talking about it now, except the difference is in 2023 we're now looking down the barrel of it, but in a more serious way than we were back then. It is definitely pending with the next generation. Yeah, with the next generation.
It was more of a hypothetical back then.
Yeah,
it was, but you should get that on a shirt. Support your local hacker.
Yeah.
What do you mean you miss? Oh, Game Traders. Sorry, Emerald Ranger says I miss Game Traders. That was a Game Traders still run, but they don't sell games. Funnily enough, they just sell pop vinyls.
We have a GameFly here. It's
Gamefly?
still going somehow. GameFly's still going here. Yeah.
Netflix was still doing physicals up until like a month ago. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I saw that.
They just announced they were shutting it down.
Could you imagine all the stock they got?
But there were people. Yeah. But it's weird because like people still use Redbox and stuff like that. I see people all the time going up to those kiosks and getting DVDs.
Yeah.
So
it's like,
are they old?
I forget sometimes that not everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, mostly, yeah. Because
my mum refuses to get on board this streaming. She's like got a portable DVD
with
player,
flip phones.
and that's she just refuses to, like, she wants something that she can put in, press play, and understands that.
I don't blame her.
And there's got to be something to that you know. Anyway,
there's also like another point to bring up, and I know this is a little bit different, but when it comes to movies, like everybody streams, like if you go onto whatever store you go to buy, if you buy digital movies, right?
Yeah.
I buy a lot of, I've gotten into like 4K disc purchases. So recently I wanted to test things, and I have a newer 4K TV and everything, and I was Lord of the Rings, right? I made the upgrade to the 4K Blu-rays, and it comes with a digital copy, right? So I tested it out, and digital copies are notorious, and I didn't know this for the longest time, that if you watch 4K, like that kind of content, you're not getting the full 4K picture. You're not getting what you're really paying for. So if you buy those and use the digital copy, if you pop in a 4K disc and watch it, it's night and day. It is so much higher quality, fidelity, sound, everything. And I compared the two here at my home. Those physical discs are insanely, like, it
vastly different.
What streaming. Yeah, even if you have a good internet connection, because they're not going to get, they're going to turn the tap off.
No buffering.
But if you have physical media, you control it. So I've got it all right there, and I can play it on a disc. But through streaming, no, they're not going to give you the full effect. You're not going to get it. So physical media has that as well.
Well, I guess the gaming version of that is lag. You're going to get lag with these games. And if you're playing just a role-play game where you're selecting options and, that doesn't matter. But if you're playing, I don't know, could you imagine playing someone in, say, Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or Super Smash Bros., where every little millisecond counts and oh shit, my stream lagged out. Oh crap, I'm dead.
You ostracize people with bad internet.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because in the Mortal Kombat community, when you are playing against people, you want to play against someone with a wired connection. And if they're lining up a match and you see someone's on Wi-Fi, you just back out and look for someone who has a wired connection, because you don't want that lag. But taking it back to the original question a little bit more, and still keeping that Mortal Kombat connection, Mortal Kombat 11 has a mode called the Crypt. And in order to access the Crypt, it requires an online connection. And that's another thing that drives the community nuts, is what's going to happen when that server gets shut down? How are we going to be able to access this content? What does this mean for the future of this game? These are the questions that really drive gamers crazy, because we don't have any real answers until that happens.
Again, you gotta support the hacker.
Do you remember The Sims?
Yeah, no, you're right. Right.
Do you remember? No, not The Sims. Sim City. Do you remember the saga that happened when they tried to make that an online-only game, single player, and there was this reporter who was defending EA, like, I don't know what would incentivize you to defend EA, but he was saying that it can't be done. It has to be online. They do this for a reason. and someone hacked it and said it can be done. Here it is. No.
Data. They just want your data. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Control thing. Yeah, that's the purpose. It's just,
What's that,
It
MK?
reminds me of when Microsoft said you can't separate Windows from Internet Explorer, and then some hacker did that.
Yeah.
Got a lot of crap. All right, so we're going to move on because we got a few more questions to get through to. But thank you very much for that one, Geeks.
I love talking
Great
about
question. Wow, we kept on that for a while.
Yeah,
it. To talk about.
it made us all angry. Ah!
Yeah.
Next one is from Stewie. Now, sorry, hang on a minute. Okay, Stewie, you got to little be patient with him, listening carefully. There is a Scottish accent. You got to get past
I
that.
love Stu.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
but he's such a top bloke. He's worth listening intensely for that one. Now, his question is question number 6. Stewie, what have you got for us, matey? If I hit the right button.
Spacies, Stewie for Stewie's Retro Gaming here, just throwing you out a wee question for your show. So I was thinking today just about kind of peripherals for games, consoles and stuff, and I was just wondering, and I'm going to ask you guys, what kind of weird and wonderful peripherals that you've obviously bought in the past, and what ones are your kind of personal favourites that you currently own. For me, it has to be this absolutely insane Menacer from a Mega Drive. As you can see, it's like slightly oversized light gun for my for a games console, but absolutely I wanted that so much for it as a kid, and I managed to get one finally, so I was delighted. And probably this one as well, like arcade stick. So which one is it for you guys? Have a good one. Take care.
Is it done? Yeah, we're back. Okay. Sorry to make you keep repeating yourself there, Stewie. Yeah, I can relate. That is such a top. Hang on, get it in the shop, Brian. There we go. That is such a top peripheral. And a little story I was just saying to these guys is I've got like the poster stuff. You guys call it poster putty or whatever. We call it blue tack. And it's on the bottom of this to keep it stable on the ground. Although it's gone rock hard over the years, so that's kind of crusty. Yeah.
Crusty. That's a good.
That's not my number one of all time. That's just a really cool one. We'll go with MK.
All right. My favorite one of all time is the Game Boy Advance player for Nintendo 64.
I gotta give you that.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
This
That's
is
a
a
good one.
super rare one. It's called the Wide Boy 64. I first had a chance to see this myself at
I've seen
E3.
it. Yeah.
You've seen it? It
Yeah.
looks like this. Sorry,
That's
I've got
super-
a Game
Oh,
Boy-
whoa.
That's rare.
That's
I like
whoa, that's
that.
cool.
I've got a Game Boy Advance game in there now. I've got Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition. It was for the most recent video I did about Goro, and there's like an ending in this game where, you know, it said what happened to Goro and who killed him. But anyway, being able to play Game Boy Advance on the N64 is like my favorite thing. That is,
Dude, that is
I guess
cool.
that was like my holy grail of gaming, and I've got one.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
Hang on. How did you get it?
Something like that.
How
Yeah,
did
that
you
looks
grab
like
it?
That's like
It
a
was
prototype.
on eBay.
Did you break into their store and?
Actually, yes, I did that.
He's like, actually,
Yeah.
yes.
We'll just go with that. Rue.
Man, like after him showing that, it makes me think of my super.
Oh, you're not gonna beat it, so don't even try. Yeah.
I know. I use my Super Game Boy like really often, so it's
Yeah.
the Super is my favorite
Grab mine.
console, and
True.
yeah, there it is,
Again.
dude. It's
Look for the Super Game Boy 2, because that one supports two
yeah, the
players.
color one, right? Oh, does
I've
it?
done that where I'll have player 1 is in the N64, player 2 is in the Super Nintendo. You can do it.
Oh wow, interesting. I didn't know that.
You can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's crazy.
I know that the 2 supports color Game Boy Color games too, right?
No,
So
no. It
Oh,
supports
no, it doesn't?
two-player games, though, using the Game Boy Link cable.
whoa,
There you go.
there it is, a
Okay.
Japanese version.
The Japanese
Japanese
one.
version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how long I've waited to get this? I only got it last year.
In the,
And I
in
got
the
it- I
box.
I got it from a super book off, a book off store, and I haven't used it as yet. But yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah, clean.
If you ever
Yeah,
get a
it's-
chance to go to Japan, go to book off. It's so good.
It's definitely one that I use
Oh wow,
often.
look at that.
Oh, that's cool. So it actually came with the little.
Oh wow.
That's like what they put in the
Nice.
N64
I like
games.
that.
They Japanese don't throw those shit out. They just keep everything. Look at this.
Yeah.
Even comes with the warning logo sticker about the
Mhm.
power and all that. But yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
why is it warning about power? I don't understand that. Anyway, but yeah, that's not. Sorry, Pato, you're next.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few. I mean, there was one that we had when I was a kid for the NES. Konami made it, and it was a headset. And instead of using the NES zapper, you put this thing on your head, and it had like a little scope, like a little thing in front of your eye, and it had a
Active.
microphone. Yeah, and it was so instead of if you played Duck Hunt, you could say like fire, or you could say anything really, and it would work.
Yeah, that's not going to
It
get old
actually-
quick.
But at the
Fire,
time,
damn
as a
it,
kid,
fire!
I was like,
It was
I
like
thought I looked
technology.
so cool. Yeah, I thought I looked so cool, and then like I remember my dad.
There's a meme
Dad
there
walked in
somewhere.
one
Yeah.
time, and I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm going like, fire it, because he had heard me. He didn't know that I had it. I got it with my mom.
And he
comes
gave you an
in, He
STFU.
just walks in, and he's like, what are you doing? And I remember turning to look at
Playing
him, and he
games,
starts
Dad.
laughing. Yeah, he just starts laughing because he sees this thing on my head. But they made all kinds of crazy stuff back then. Like the Super Scope was cool. I loved the Super Scope. A lot of people don't like it, but I liked it a lot.
It was
I thought
cool.
it
Yeah, it
was
was
really
cool.
fun. And the Zapper. I mean, if I had to choose one,
Oh, yeah,
it would
the Zapper.
probably be the Zapper or the NES Advantage. Were two of my. favorites.
Want to get my
Those-
hands on an
really glad
advantage.
you mentioned the Super Scope. I had to tell you something.
Yeah.
The Super Scope doesn't work on one of my favorite systems, which is the Retron 3. It's just
Mm.
incompatible.
Ah.
But someone, and you can look this up on YouTube, somebody figured out how to modify a Sega Saturn light gun that's wired, and they actually made it so that it works on a Super Nintendo. They just changed
Wow.
the plug.
Oh, interesting.
It works on the with all Super Scope games. And for some reason, it even works on my Retron 3. So that's what I use now to play Super Scope games. And I think it's
Well, yeah,
way
a lot
better.
of those don't work on modern TVs either. You have to
No,
have
but
the
they have.
CRT.
Yeah.
There was someone that came out of way to make it work, but we haven't seen
wish.
it become commercial.
Yeah.
Those
Like I
sort of
have a
things
couple
were-
CRTs, but God, I mean, they're not going to work forever.
Yeah, those sort of things were super cool back then because it made you feel like you were at the arcade, but at home. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Oh
you
yeah,
got-
you got a Master
Um,
System light gun. Is that
Yeah,
that's
sealed?
cool.
It's sealed.
wow.
It's never been
the
opened.
light phaser.
Very nice.
I like how the shiny it is.
That's cool.
Look at that. Look at the
Clean.
price though. Like this is Australian dollar dues too.
Can't see
I
it.
can't see it. It's 99.99.
It's 100 Australian. So
100.
that's
Okay.
for a sealed. And there's an ongoing debate between me and Toploader about sealed games. I don't usually keep sealed games, but I'm never going to open this one. It's just like,
No,
why bother?
No.
Yeah,
That's why,
so that's
not why you bought it,
yeah.
right?
But
Was
it's an
was
ongoing
Geeks
argument.
by the Creek. Geeks by the Creek in the chat did mention the RE4 chainsaw controller, and I do have one.
Oh, he's watching. How you doing, geeks?
Yeah, I have one of those, and I tried to play RE4 with it, and it's a nightmare. It's not good to play with. I love it. It sounds like I love it as a peripheral. It's one of the coolest, controllers they've ever made. But God,
But they don't get creative with peripherals anymore. There's no really zany,
No.
wacky stuff
No.
coming out now. They just want to play it safe.
just colors,
Yeah,
and designs.
Too
like, you
risky.
This is about as cool as it gets now. That's it.
Okay, that is
That's the
amazing.
8-bit
I love
do,
that.
right?
Yeah.
It do.
Yeah,
That's about
those
all
are
I've
good.
got.
Is it 8-bit
Oh,
do,
oh,
or
oh,
is it
oh,
8-bit
wait.
go?
It is do,
No,
as in Scooby Doo. It is do. They have yeah. And this, no one's mentioned this.
3D.
Oh.
Oh,
Those are $500
All right.
sunglasses.
You won't look like a jerk. We promise. Yeah, let's get.
oh,
let's get
okay.
this-
Not sealed. Let's get them on.
Not so.
Oh yeah.
All right. Now I'm in the future. I can't.
Those
I can't
are
see.
the red
I
and
can't see
blue,
shit.
right?
So it basically has.
just.
It has two. It's just no. It's just two LCD screens
okay.
that flick on
Oh,
and off,
wow.
on and off, and it has a cable that goes into the.
It got pretty experimental back then too.
Yeah, there's hang on, there's all this going on. Hang on. So this connects into there, and that goes into the like the my card they call it, or the
Yeah.
Sega card. That goes
Hmm.
into that slot, and then you can play.
How much fun is that to play?
You just get headaches. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It looks like headache
That's just
material.
because you drink while you're doing it.
Well, there's that.
Right.
No, it worked to a degree. It's not like, what is it? PlayStation VR. It's not like that or anything. No.
Oh yeah,
But-
no.
But man, we had to use our imagination back in the 80s. Come on.
Yeah,
By the way, Nintendo Wii got a lot of crazy accessories. You remember that?
they did. Yeah, they had a ton, but there was a lot of third party peripherals for the Wii.
They went all
Tons.
out. I mean, I know built into it that they didn't have a standard control, so that
Mm-hmm.
kind of enabled third-party developers to really use their imagination and try, untested things like that. You want to talk about experimental? That was probably one of the most experimental systems in our time.
The Wii was
It
wacky
was.
already, It was like
Yeah.
pretty zany.
Wacky Wii.
People were spending like so much money. Like parents were going in and being like, "Well, if we want to play Wii Sports, we have to get these literal just plastic pieces that change nothing that attach to the Wiimote. That's
Yeah.
like a tennis racket, a baseball bat, does nothing.
Steering
but-
wheel.
Yes, the steering wheel for Mario
The,
Kart.
the zapper gun actually kind of made you feel like you were playing with a
Cool.
different
That
controller,
one was
but
pretty cool. Nike.
but
Do you ever
I don't
try
know
to-
It's like a pistol
Do you ever try to
Yeah,
put
like-
shit back in its box and it just never goes in like it's supposed to?
Every
Like,
time.
get in there, you bastard.
like when you put an instruction booklet in and then you can't close it.
Yeah.
he said,
Yeah, we know.
Hang on, I'll read what it says on the back of here. A view from the inside. Sega matches high-speed crystal shutter technology with VHD compatibility for a high-tech instrument that won't interfere with your own glasses. Okay. The Sega 3D glasses transfers your vision into the game's compelling screen, where hundreds of vibrant colors, it's 200, I think. So it was a plural. Where hundreds of vibrant colors greet your eyes and graphics come alive.
what a
Important.
sales pitch.
The
Yeah,
3D
that's
glasses can only be. Oh, hang on. The 3D glasses can be utilized only for the three-dimensional Sega Mega cartridge games. And there you go. That's a pitch and a half. Oh, and I like that. Yeah, look at this. Sega.
Yeah.
Now there are no limits.
Yeah, dude. That
Your
is
imagination.
funny, man.
You thought your imagination
okay.
was great. Just wait.
Here in Australia, probably, I don't know if you've heard this before, but these guys won. They beat Nintendo in this era.
Yep.
So we are a different dimension here when it comes to that.
That makes
They
sense.
did here in like 90. They beat Nintendo in like what, 93?
Yeah, only because of the whole Genesis does and all that coming in. Yeah.
Sega
That
really
didn't work here.
I
What?
think Sega really beat Nintendo here when it came to Mortal Kombat because Sega uncensored
That was a
it
big
and
one.
Nintendo censored it. That was huge.
Sega,
Alright.
Sega didn't beat Nintendo's market share till like 93. And
Yeah,
then
but
they
the
did
Genesis,
major-
but the Genesis Does campaign really did put
That
them
cam-
in the right direction, and then it
Years
was
ago.
hang on,
You're talking about before Tom Kalinske took over. That was their slogan.
yeah, and I'm talking Al Nilsson, who I've had on the channel,
Yeah,
and
Nielsen's a
and
legend.
when you had the likes of all these sporting legends kicking in with their games licensing, and it was Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic really was
That's what did
the
it. Yeah,
was the game that pushed them over the edge, pushed them past Nintendo.
yeah,
It was for a brief moment only.
yeah. It wasn't for long, but they had that campaign going with all those, like you said, the sports guys, and like they were trying to get
Yeah.
all that stuff done. Kalinski's the one that came in, and really, if it weren't for Kalinske, that never would have happened. Because that
I
campaign
really want to
spanned
get him on the.
year. Yeah,
Okay.
me too. Believe me, I would love to, but he's that guy's a legend. But him and Al Nielsen both. I mean,
Yeah, they were
Those guys.
without wouldn't work with one without the other. Yeah,
And Sega really did
absolutely.
amazing in Brazil with the Sega Master System. People
They
down
did.
there were still playing Master
Tech
System
toy.
games,
mhm.
while the
Up
rest of the
until-
world was like playing PS2.
yeah,
yeah.
I feel like
I had no
Brazil
idea
is
till a few
still
years
playing
ago.
that.
yeah.
But the long and the short of
Year was that. Yeah.
the long and the short of why that is that they can't manufacture their own products there, or they have to. Sorry, they have to. They can't
And
import.
importing is expensive. It's really
Super
funny.
stupidly expensive because of
Right.
local laws. So that's why they've stuck playing older, whatever games they can
Yeah.
manufacture locally.
Mhm.
I think we
I have a
should-
friend from Brazil, and he like buys consoles here, takes them back and sells them, and it pays for his like whole vacation here.
Yeah, you can go to Brazil and have your whole trip paid for by doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
We are going to move on to question number 7. Stewie, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Toppy.
Stop
Gotta
it,
do-
dude. Stewie's-
Is it
he's a
Toppy?
great guy.
We've got to deal with
I
Toppy
gotta
now.
turn the volume up for this one.
No, you need to turn it down. He's just
Turn the speakers all the way up.
Toppy, what have you got for us, matey?
Hello, it's me, the top loader. Could you tell by the way I'm talking? How could you not tell it's me? Just look at me and listen to how I sound. So today's question actually is, of course, so obvious. Who has the best haircut with everyone sitting there? Of course I'm joking, because let's face it, none of us have bad haircuts. They're all good. Really, they're all good. They really are. So, anyway, except maybe Since Spacies, but I'm not going there. Today's actual question is, which Nintendo console do you think is the most divided with the love and the hate? For the longest time possible, I always thought that it was the Wii. The Wii. I always thought it was the Wii. Well, actually, to be honest, for a long time there, it really was. But now on Twitter, I see a lot of hate and love towards another console, the N64. Everyone seems to love and hate that even more than the Wii, yes! So in your opinion, what is the most divided console for Nintendo's great console line? They're all great. Everyone loves the Super Nintendo for the most part. There's no questioning that for the most part. But the N64, all these questions. And now, I want to hear your answers. See what I did there? Bye.
And we're back. Toppy,
I like
mate.
that guy's energy.
Yeah.
He's a punish.
Odd.
Love your work, Toppy. It's a shame he's not in the chat. Anyway, my hair, it's okay. It's I've got hair. We'll see. We'll see where you're doing when you get to my age. So yeah, these guys reckon that this is an easy answer, but I don't think so. I think
we might
that-
all have the same answer.
The word divisive. The word
All right.
divisive specifically only puts me on one.
MK, we're going to work from left to right. MK,
Yep.
what's the most divisive console you think?
So, well, obviously the worst console is the Virtual Boy. I think that's not even divisive. We all agree with that. So the most divisive
That's
one,
not divisive. No.
divisive one is probably GameCube, because you either love
Okay.
that controller.
Okay. Wrong. Next. Pato.
Dude, no, this is coming from someone who is a massive fan, and you know it, Spacies, because you see me talk about it all the time. The N64. 100% it's the N64.
Correct. The N64
There's no other answer.
is just
It's the most divisive.
this
It
console.
really is. It's that
And- and-
controller.
I love the
I think
GameCube, but-
and also the
Yeah.
low poly. I think when PlayStation came out, it was a lot more smooth, and
Yeah.
the controller was more, I guess, easier to understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny for a guy that really shits on the Nintendo 64 on a constant basis.
You and
that
most
I've got
of the mutuals.
Yeah, and look, I've got one, and this thing, I got this from Japan. It is immaculate. I can't believe
love
the condition
that.
of
Yeah,
this box.
My
love
Japanese
that.
N64.
Look at it.
Perfect. Yeah.
What is it with Japanese gamers? They just
That box is awesome.
respect
I
the
love that
console.
box.
The box is super cool.
It's
yeah.
immaculate, and the actual game, the console itself. I don't want to.
Yeah. I've got two Japanese ones. I've got a gold and a blue, and then my original that I bought. I got my N64 a day before release because I annoyed the shit out of the Toys R Us worker.
You know, I'd be
calling
willing
too
to
much.
say that all Nintendo consoles from the Nintendo 64 up to the Switch
I
are
love
probably divisive.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
you're
look
right.
at the
I
Wii.
think-
When the Wii is like one of the best selling, but like the controls, like people complained about it, and people were like, "Oh, like you could always
That's a
blame
good
it on
point.
you could always blame like the motion controls
Nice.
on error." Oh,
Yeah.
that's really nice.
his feet, his
beautiful.
feet, his
Look how
feet is the
ugly.
reset
Come
button.
on,
Look,
come on,
look.
How can you not like that?
That's
And I like how
clean,
they
dude.
stretched it out. They stretched it out on one side to accommodate for the Pikachu.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's
Oh,
off-centered. It's
that's
not.
cool,
it's-
though.
I was thinking like the Wii U, but that
Oh, the
doesn't,
Wii U also,
you know,
again.
but is it divisive
It's
though? 'Cause,
no, it's
like,
not divisive. Most people just shit on. Most people shit on the Wii U.
and I
it
have a Wii
wasn't
U because
popular
it's
enough.
also a Wii, you know, so it's
Yeah.
I can use it for
They
that.
had the
But
backwards.
And it's HDMI.
right,
Before-
exactly. So,
I-
which the Wii had backwards compatibility with GameCube for a while. and then
I
they
think
took
people
that out.
shit on the Wii a whole lot right away. I don't think people really shit on the
Initially.
N64. I think people were like still kind of like dazzled. By
Oh, it's got the thing. It's got the thing.
Yeah. That really just gave it more RAM? Is that all it was?
Right.
Yeah, I think there's only one or two games that really uses it.
N64. I have an ongoing like just kind of tongue-in-cheek joke going with Retro Game Brews about this because he actually has an N64 and plays it, but he'll shit on it.
He's funny, man. Yeah, he's really funny about that.
He's great.
Oh, that's
cool.
for the
I love this
DD.
guy.
The controller, people always bring up the controller, and I'm just gonna say, like, that's fine. If you don't like the controller, no big deal. But I never had a problem with it. It's shit. I disagree. I think it's great. I love it. But I get it. I understand why some people don't like it. Totally. And it's weird. You know, it's a weird controller.
I mean,
but
same with,
I
look at the
remember-
Dreamcast. The Dreamcast is a weird one too.
Yeah.
You know.
The
You know, Pat,
Dreamcast.
Oh, hang on. What Nintendo had to do was produce that, right? Done. No, we're going to be quirky. We're going to make it free. We're going to make it look weird because we're the fun toy factory.
Because they're
You know.
quirky and they're weird.
Fun
We all-
toy factory.
I'll say this. For certain N64 games, that N64 controller is the best controller. Like for Mario 64, for Super Smash
Oh, yeah.
Brothers, I couldn't imagine playing with.
But you could have played it. You could have played it with that just fine.
But even when I played Super Mario 64 with the Wii Virtual Controller, which was a good controller, I didn't like it as much as playing with an N64 controller.
You missed the N64 controller.
Do you
I
think,
agree.
Yeah,
do you think
it
that was
just felt
nostalgia?
right.
Or?
But look,
Yeah.
there's other games that have been
Yeah.
on multiple systems. If there's a game that's on the N64 and the PlayStation, you're better off with the PlayStation
beautiful.
version just because the controller.
Again, I get that.
It's a beautiful
for sure,
piece of
yeah.
work right there. Look.
I get it.
Someone also made the comment. They were like, "Oh, what you need 3 hands, whatever." And I'm like, "No, it never used."
Yeah, you don't
Very
need
few
3
games
hands.
use the D-pad.
That is stupid. That is stupid. It's just stupid. It's just...
I can never agree. I will be.
And the trigger's in the middle. What happens if you're over here? Oh, I need to use the trigger. Hang on a minute.
I can't think of any
the
games where they
trigger.
use both.
Yeah, you press the Z trigger in that case. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you press the Z trigger, but even still, Mischief Maker. Okay, Mischief Makers used the D-pad. It was one of the only games that I played aside from. There's others. I didn't.
Mortal
Correct me if
Kombat
I'm
games
wrong,
used
NK,
it.
but Mythologies did too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Americans defending
Mischief Makers work
Nintendo.
What was that?
I said I love Americans defending Nintendo. It's just...
Well, I just love the N64. Now, granted, that was the one that I saved up my money for, and I had a choice. I could get a PlayStation, a Saturn, or an N64. I had a Super Nintendo. And so at the time, in 96, I was, maybe like 12 years old? So for me, that was like, I want the new Nintendo. Because everybody was like, it's gonna be the best. You know, we didn't know. We just thought
It was
the
such
new
a weird
Nintendo, It's
time.
gonna be amazing. Yeah.
Hang on, what year did the Nintendo 60? Nintendo 64. When did that drop? That was 97, 96.
September 96.
So I was 22. So I was working at the Gamesman at the time. From a Sega fanboy point of view, what a fucking weird time that was. We had no idea what Sega were doing.
Oh yeah.
We wanted to support Sega. We were like, come on, man, what's the new console? What have you got for us? Oh, we've got the 32X. Okay, I guess that's great. And then it's like, no, forget the 32X. No, forget it. We're going to be doing the Saturn. But what about the 32? What? Hang on. What? You just released a console. At one point in time, Sega was supporting Saturn, Mega Drive, 32X, Game Gear, and Sega Master System in this country. Count how many platforms that is. How could you expect...
What about
Sorry?
Sega CD?
Mega CD, 32X.
Yeah, and Megas, but they dropped the Mega CD kind of quick.
But
Yeah.
There's
32X
another
CD,
one.
did you get
There
that?
was another one they didn't release that was supposed to be a standalone 32X called the Neptune.
Yeah, I would have liked
were
that.
going to
I would have liked to see Saturn get released, forget 32X, and I would have liked to have seen Saturn be backward compatible with a Mega Drive slot. Done. And then that would get everyone on board, and they would have captured
They
so
put a
many
slot
more.
in there, just not for. just not for that.
They would have captured so many more people moving over, especially here in Australia. Sega was huge here, and then overnight they just dropped it. And PlayStation came along and said, "All right, we'll take your fans from here on." And then that was, they never captured the market back again. It was such a shame. Cameron, oh wow, that's so original. They should have released one called the Uranus. Oh jeez. Move right along.
Planets back then. Yeah.
Show us your rings. No, anyway. You think MK that it was actually the GameCube was the most divisive?
Yeah, I do, because I think the controller was actually even more divisive than the N64 one.
I like the GameCube
I love
controller.
that controller. But I think I see where he's coming from,
Yeah.
because back then, what was it, 2001, right, for the GameCube? So
Yeah.
the Xbox and the PS2 both had pretty, standard. The Xbox
Pretty
controller kind of
traditional
mimicked
layout.
the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, the GameCube kind of I think back then people were a little harsher on the GameCube controller, but I think over time people really appreciate it because it is one of the best design controllers ever made, I think.
Oh, fancy
Right
that.
now.
I think the GameCube
Yeah.
one, the little weird
Oh, the little
size-
disc.
Smash Brothers, Melee.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was an interesting gimmick. That made it seem futuristic to have the smaller discs.
Yeah,
Such a bad move, though.
whoa.
Such a bad move.
Well, because they didn't want people pirating their games like the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
They were
True.
having.
And also,
So-
they made a lot of money selling those discs to the game developers.
Yep.
Hmm.
Didn't help the GameCube though.
No.
No. The story with this one, this is an American model, actually. I don't know
Oh, is
how
it?
I ended up with that. And it's kind of a bit, beaten up. I've actually got 2 other GameCubes. How did I end up with so many GameCubes? I got one that was
As many as I can.
like, I got one in 2017, CIB, complete in box, and I got it for super cheap. And it was with the GameCube player, and I couldn't believe it was like as new. Like in 2017, getting an as new GameCube for like 70 Australian dollars. This is like,
Nice.
I grabbed it, and my wife was saying, "Do you want to get anything else from here?" I'm like, "No, let's go. I want to get
take
this
it and
before take it and run before they change their bloody mind." Oh yeah, and the Geeks by the Creek has made an awesome comment. This actually should be my answer for your question before about peripherals. No, it wasn't him that asked that. It was Stewie. He asked about the peripherals. The Wavebird is probably one of my favorite controllers of all time. That thing was an amazing controller that absolutely just knocked all the other controllers out of the park at the time. They got the wireless. Yeah, they got the wireless control aspect just right. It just worked. I've got 3 of them.
Absolutely.
I need 1 more to complete the set. It's so expensive.
They were great. The only
You're
thing
gonna
I
get-
remember back when they came out, I was like, oh, they don't have Rumble, and I remember thinking that was why I
Yeah.
didn't want one.
Spacey,
I don't really
are you gonna
mind.
go and get the Panasonic version of GameCube that has the built-in DVD player?
Oh, the Q.
I want one of those so bad.
IQ?
They're too expensive.
No. What do they call it? What's it called again?
I don't remember the numbers, but yeah, it's that Panasonic.
If I see one, I'll buy it, but I'll never see one for a price
You'll
that
never
I
see
think
one
that
for-
I'll get. Yeah, unless
Thousands of dollars.
because when I was going to Japan in 2006, I used to see stuff all the time that I didn't realize that was hard to get. It's only now that I'm looking back going, I should have bought that bloody thing.
Oh man.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
100% of the shots that you don't take.
Right.
What? Who said that? That was
Michael Scott.
no.
Wayne Gretzky.
It was right. No, it wasn't Wayne Gretzky. It was Hull. What's his name?
What?
Something Hull. Brett Hull. It was another St. Blues player. Anyway,
Oh.
probably Wayne Gretzky said it and just stole the expression from him.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Toppy. I don't think you got us into an argument like you thought you were going to.
It was a good question, though. I loved it.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the devious look on his face.
It's always he doesn't
That's
have any
always
other
there.
expression. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question, and this one is from probably the best guest. Sorry, all the other guests have been really good for the questions, but this is probably the best one. I'm saving the best for last.
Best for last.
You really?
Benji, what have you got for us, matey?
Since Spacies, Benjamin's got a question for you. What is your question from you to Since Spacies? Little top loader, junior, little pal of mine.
Have you ever played Super Mario World and beat it twice?
Why would you want to beat it twice? You know why? Because it's so good to play it through once. You just want to play it again. That's what it is, isn't it? Eh?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Because you beat it once, and then once you get 100% it, then it's a whole new world that opens up. It's the same world, but it's a whole different world. If you know what I mean, when you beat it 100%. You know what I'm talking about. If you've been there and done that, like we have. Right?
Yeah.
See? Great minds think alike. So that's the question. Have you beaten Super Mario World? Is that right?
Yeah.
Twice.
Yes.
Twice. Have you
Yes.
beaten it twice, pal? Not just once. Twice.
Right.
Top loader, when Benji wants to ask a question, can you just let him ask the bloody question? I love the look on Benji's like, are you finished? Can I go now? Can I start now? Benji, love your work. I'd love to see more questions in from you, mate. The simple answer is, I think so. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago when it came out. I know for a fact that I have beaten Super Mario Brothers twice because I was so fascinated with like, what is going on? Why have all the sprites changed? So I wanted to continue that and play that and finish it. So I finished Super Mario Brothers twice. Super Mario World, I think I've done it. But you know what? For a challenge on the stream later, I might just do that. So that will be my challenge on an upcoming stream. Has anyone here finished?
Oh yeah.
I have.
Oh yeah.
I might
I've
have.
done it
I
many
can't
times,
remember.
far more than twice.
I can't remember my recent memory where I have. You know, I usually cut it off after the first go around, but
yeah, I didn't.
Maybe
I
once-
usually
once-
didn't circle back.
You know,
once upon a
they
time,
changed-
maybe.
They changed the enemies once you beat like the special zone. So they
It's a
changed the
sprite
enemies
swap.
around.
Yeah.
And if you beat,
Oh, do they move them around?
yeah, well, they like the Koopa Troopers are wearing Mario masks. The Bullet Bills are like Pidgeot Bills. It's almost like it's Halloween
weird.
mode, and they're all
weird.
wearing Halloween costumes because
Which
As
is
a kid, I was
cool,
like, "What in the world is happening?" Yeah, it's weird,
But
but
if
it's
you
fun.
beat it, but to answer Benji's question, like if you beat, this is what he's hinting at. Like if you beat the game, if you beat Bowser after you've beaten the special zone, then even the credits have been updated to have like the new updated enemy names and stuff. And yes,
Yeah,
I've definitely
yeah.
been through that.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
it's been years, but yes, for
Try
sure.
it on the Game Boy Advance, guys, too. If you can play your Game Boy Advance games on an N64 like me, it's even better. You just play Super Mario World, the Game Boy Advance port of it, because they added so many new cutscenes and stuff like that into the intro and everything. It's really fun.
Just what I
That's,
needed.
That's,
Great game.
that's
Such a
like the
good
most
game.
meta thing I've ever heard. Is like I'm gonna play the Game Boy Advance version on my N64.
Oh, Cameron said
Um,
Super Mario Brothers 3. Super Mario Bros. 3 is ass. I can't agree with that.
No,
Uh,
no.
It's a
Super
great
Mario
game.
3 is amazing.
Okay. I got a weird
Sorry,
opinion.
sorry.
Okay, hang on. Where is it?
But World is better. I will say, I will agree with that.
World is
Well,
definitely
that's
better in my
my
opinion.
game.
World is.
A lot of people like 3 better, but for me, it's
I like
it's
3 a
definitely
lot,
World.
but
Yeah, me too.
World is
It's a great
still-
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here I have the NES versions. I have not played these because Cameron sold me a console that doesn't work. Anyway, I'm working on that. But here's the...
Retron 3, you'll love it.
No. I've got a fix for the NES. My NES, the box is immaculate. The console itself, not so much. I've got a thing called Red Light Win. Do you know what that is?
Mm-mm.
Red Light Win. So it is a fix because the NES has a console fault. It basically, when you put the cartridge in, there's a mechanism in there that was only designed to represent or replicate a VHS tape. That was it. That was the only purpose of it. It has no actual benefit at all. They could have just slotted it in and slotted it out. But no, they wanted to make it look like it was dropping in like a VHS tape. And, well, it screws up over time. And, Red Light Win gets you to remove that mechanism, put this in, so all you have to do is put the cartridge in. There's no push down. And it works. And it will last longer. So it is a hardware mod. but I'm yet to do it. But I'm looking forward to doing it because I wouldn't mind, just playing this game
Playing
that I've
some
played.
classics.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. That's a great idea. By the way, have you ever gotten the Lego set of the NES where you can like recreate it in a CRT television and everything?
It's up there, and I'm waiting for the wife to agree with me to one day put it together.
Okay, definitely. That's
It
a
was
display
my
piece. That's
wife's
something you want to
idea
display.
to buy it and put it together.
She said, "Yeah, let's get it," and I said, "Okay, so when are we going to put it together?" Next weekend. So my opinion is, I can't. I just can't play this version. I'm sorry. I've got to play the Super Nintendo redone version.
On All Stars.
All Stars.
Not bad.
Can we?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? That was one of the first. Is that the first redone remake of a game that you can think of in history? I can't think of any others.
I think Ninja Gaiden did that earlier.
Did it?
Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, it's close. Yeah.
But how good was that remake? It was just so.
It was great.
Yeah. All Stars was great.
It was such
it's
a
great.
big hit.
It was cool to have all the games in one too. It was like, whoa.
Like,
and
I was wrong. Mario All Stars was first.
That shit flew off the shelves when I was working in a game.
Great.
I was working in a game store at the time, and that was a system seller. It would make.
They were packing it in with consoles here for a while.
Yeah, and
They were.
That's a lot of content, for the time, for sure.
one game, and it's got all these in it.
The
like,
lost levels, right? So the real Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, for people who are still hanging on to their NES, they weren't ready to give up their NES system just because they loved those games so much. That was just the push they needed to say, okay, I'm all in for the Super Nintendo.
Oh, I can play it again.
Yeah.
I just noticed that the dudes in the background there in your cave there are actually blinking. I didn't realize that until just now. Oh, you guys in the stream can't see that. Sorry.
Just like the arcade.
That is the Skelly boy behind him hanging. His little
I'm going to go
Skelly
away
boy.
for a while so that you can see the skeleton better.
There you go.
That was the guy that didn't follow Since Spacies. All right, guys, we are done. Let's show the full screen. There we go. Look at us all.
Hey.
This is the part of the stream where I ask you guys, what are you doing next? Because we've been doing this for a little while now. How much? What's the counter? An hour 40. Okay, let's move on. Pato, what do you got coming up on your channel? Have you got any content coming out or anything?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, and I don't think I mentioned, or maybe I did, but so our podcast, which has a new episode coming out next week as soon as I finish editing it, but I've got the Majora's Mask episode coming out on the Retroblast podcast. So for those of you who haven't listened to it, the show is really just all about one game, right? So it's reminiscing,
and he's got that radio voice, guys. Come on,
radio, yeah. Until I get really, really animated, and then I sound like a little boy again. But it's something for people that want to just really kind of take a step back and listen to people reminisce about games that they love. That's really the point of the podcast. So, but that's Majora's Mask is one that I think is also kind of divisive. Spacies, I know how you feel about it. So, but we've got a lot to say. I've got Ducks in Disguise. I don't know if you guys know him. But
I know Ducko.
He's coming on,
and it's Ducko, by the way. It's Ducko.
Ducko. So Ducko will be on with me. We're recording tomorrow. So we've both been playing through it again. So I'm really excited about that. That's coming up next. Yeah.
Okay, and Pato, what have you got coming up? Sorry, Rue.
I'm do the physical game releases, and right now we're working on a Super Nintendo game that was previously canceled, and finishing it up and trying to get it released. So that's really, I've done a couple of Mr. Tough. It's a game called Mr. Tough. It was previously supposed to be done by Ocean Software. And
not Mother 4. Okay, damn.
Yeah. So it got shit canned, and it was almost a finished game. It was really polished and clean game, and they for some reason they just canceled it, and we got the rights to it, and we're finishing it up. So
I love that. I love being able to
cool
see like that, and let it out.
Yeah, I've
That's
been
awesome.
lucky enough to do it a couple times now where we were able to take something that was like previously unreleased and give it like the actual physical release that it deserves. You know, the developers,
I'd
they've
love to
already
get a physical copy of that when it's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For real.
It's that's what I like. It's one of my favorite things to do, you know. I release physical content, you know, in general, but I love to save like old games like that and give them the life that I think they deserve.
Preservation.
So,
Important.
yeah. It's just one of those things. You can find the game online. I mean, there's like unfinished versions and you can play it for free, and that's, you know, it doesn't it's that's cool. Go try it out. It's a good game. You know, but if you want a physical copy, then the latroM coming soon.
I will check that out.
Cool, man.
Nice.
And MK, what have you got coming up?
All right. Well, you guys can find me on tabmoK99 on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at the same username, tabmoK99. So my most recent video that I did was Goro, and the reason why I did him was because I did a poll on my Twitter. I said, hey, who do you guys want me to cover next? Goro, Melina, Blaze, and Goro won the poll. So
easily. Yeah, I would have clicked Goro.
Yeah. I honestly thought Melina was going to win because she's got a lot of fans on Twitter too. So I actually don't know who's going to be next. I'm going to do a poll next week giving people a choice. So whatever the fans decide, that's where I'll be at.
Okay.
Cool.
And as for Spacies, I got to get off my bum and do more of these Spacies shows.
Bring it back.
I'll give you the honest reason why I haven't been doing these shows. It's because getting questions from you guys has been pretty tough. I'm not wanting to blame the fans or anything, but it does stress me out. So if you guys want to send in video questions, you don't have to wait for the episode to be coming up. Send them in at any time. I put them in a folder. It's called Unused Questions. I'll pull them out and use them. Except for you, Cameron. Shocking. Just keep away from the camera, okay?
Always in question.
No, send in your questions. And also, the other reason is getting guests. Getting guests has been hard to... These guys have been super awesome, waking up at stupid AM in the morning. So can we have a round of applause for these guys for... Yeah, and a pat on the back for getting up at the stupid hours.
Yeah,
they're gonna go straight to bed.
Fall back asleep now.
And I'm gonna punch on with what I've been doing. But thank you, you awesome guys, for dropping by.
Thanks for having us.
And it was so worth it to wake up and be here, man. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad I wake you up.
We're all kind of in the same camp. We'd like to just talk about games. Even if it's just us, or even if nobody was listening, I would talk about this stuff. So,
and if you guys have got any suggestions for any future guests, please send them in, and I'll see if I can convince that person to drag their ass here and talk crap about games.
You know what? You had a question about speedrunners. It might be fun to do an all speedrunner episode.
Hey, there you go.
If you guys want to do all speedrunning related questions, I don't know. We'll see. This is the
episode.
But this is the we have considered that, and that would do my head in. But this is the show where you watching over at home. This is the question. This is the show where you ask the questions. So we'll see what questions you guys come up with. In the meantime, my name has been Brian. I've been gaming since Spacies. Thank you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Since Spacies.